Okay, it's not like we don't have a bunch of bad news to unpack with all the Durham stuff and FBI stuff. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like the IRS stuff might be even more nefarious, or at least as nefarious as the FBI stuff. But it's like second tier for stories, so people aren't talking about it. I'm glad Amber is, though. Joining me now, my friend Amber Athey. She is the author of the book, The Snowflakes Revolt, which I would recommend. Amber, okay, lay things out for people here. What was going on with the IRS, and then what happened today? I woke up to the headline and did that internet meme where my eyes about fell out of my skull.
Right. So the IRS was responsible for investigating these sort of icky tax withholdings from Hunter Biden, where they claim that he wasn't reporting all of his income. Shocker, because a lot of it is from foreign sources and foreign nationals. And it turns out that the IRS whistleblower who put together this team to continue investigating Hunter Biden's nefarious tax dealings revealed that the DOJ took his entire team off of the case. And a former IRS official testified to Congress that he's never seen anything like this in his entire career as an IRS agent. An entire investigatory team taken off of the case by the DOJ of the son of the president. The whole thing reeks to high heaven.
Okay, so just trying to make sure I understand this correctly. They probably didn't know who the whistleblower was, and so Merrick Garland, as Joe Biden's hatchet man, just axed the entire team? Do I have that correctly?
Yeah, you have that correctly. And unfortunately, this is just another reminder for people who have been following the Hunter Biden corruption case for a while now that there's not going to be justice coming from the DOJ. I mean, the DOJ under the Biden administration has been so politicized. It goes after pro-lifers who protest at abortion clinics. It goes after school board parents who show up to complain if their daughters get raped in the bathroom by a non-binary person. So the idea that Hunter Biden was going to, be prosecuted by Merrick Garland was already kind of ridiculous. And so a lot of people are talking about this Arkansas child support case where Hunter Biden is asking to make lower payments to his former stripper baby mama. And the reason that case is important towards making sure Hunter Biden is held accountable is that this is a civil case. And so he can be compelled to testify, he can be subpoenaed, and he can't plead the fifth. So he would have to basically unveil all of his financial dealings in order to prove that he deserves to be paying lower child support payments.
Oh my gosh, he sounds like so much fun to party with. All right, Amber, you think all this DOJ stuff goes away for Hunter? I've had this theory. I read it's a crackpot theory. I have no basis for this whatsoever. I figured the system is done with Joe. They'd rather have Gavin Newsom, and I figured they were going to use this Hunter Biden stuff as leverage to push old President Poopy Pants out the back door.
That's what I thought too, and that's what the Democrats would do if they were smart. But I think we've learned that despite them being completely corrupt and Machiavellian, they're also not very bright. So it seems like they're kind of setting in motion the opportunity for them to either drop the case entirely or to just get Hunter on a few minor charges. I mean, the DOJ case from the get-go, the investigation that's been going on since 2018 into Hunter Biden was kind of small potatoes anyway, because again, they were going after him for these tax dealings, these tax charges, and also for filling out false information on a form to buy a firearm. When you compare that to the scope of the corruption involving the Biden family that's been unveiled by the House Oversight Committee, where you have 9 Biden family members getting millions of dollars from CCP-connected officials, from corrupt Romanians, from Ukrainians, the idea that Hunter Biden didn't pay enough on his taxes being the real, smoking gun is pretty absurd.
Okay. You have written a lot about woke millennials and how they're the driving force behind so much of this insanity we see out there, Russian hoaxes and everything else. Explain.
Absolutely. The woke millennials have really captured the media, particularly the mainstream corporate media. And these are the same people who were shuttering debate on college campuses, throwing Molotov cocktails when people like Ben Shapiro would come to speak. And they've been hired at the New York Times, the Washington Post, and at big tech companies like Twitter and Facebook. and have been put in charge of both editorial decisions as well as at big tech, the decisions to censor certain material. So when we hear about the media coordinating to call the Hunter Biden laptop Russian disinformation, and people at Twitter pulling the New York Post story off of the platform ahead of the 2020 election, that's millennials who are doing that. It's young people who are pretty recent college graduates within the last 10 to 15 years who have their hands on the levers of control. And unfortunately, all of these people in charge go along with it because they're so terrified of being called a racist if they don't comply. Plus, a lot of the people at mainstream media outlets who are in the editorial seats are liberal anyway, so they're pretty sympathetic to it. But it's really horrific when you see just how deep these millennials have sort of entrenched themselves into American institutions.
Yeah, that's not good. Amber, thank you. Come back soon.
Thanks, Jesse.
I have great news. If you enjoyed that, I have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to. Whatever I do, it'll be right there on YouTube, so go subscribe today.